Veronica Lake's life seems to encapsulate both the glamorous dream and the tragic nightmare of Hollywood's golden age. Born Constance Frances Marie Ockelman on November 14, 1922, in Brooklyn, New York, her path to stardom was paved with complexity, rebellion, and an unyielding defiance of the system that tried to define her. From the outset, Veronica's story was marked by a battle against the forces that sought to control her. Raised by a pushy and competitive mother, Lake was always at odds with expectations. Her early life was a whirlwind of relocations, from Florida to New York, and a string of personal tragedies, including the death of her father when she was just 12 years old. Yet, despite these challenges, she forged a reputation as a tough, independent girl who didn't conform to societal norms. Her memoir, Veronica, the autobiography of Veronica Lake, co-written with Donald Bain in 1969, tells the story of her tumultuous journey from a quiet childhood to Hollywood stardom. The book is a blend of raw honesty and escapist fantasy, offering readers a glimpse into the mind of a woman who struggled to reconcile her public persona with her private pain. Lake's wit, sarcasm, and bitterness permeate the pages, but so do moments of vulnerability that reveal the deep toll her fame took on her soul. By the time Veronica Lake arrived in Hollywood, she was already a different person from the naive girl who had entered the Miss Miami contest. At just 17, she was rechristened Veronica Lake by producer Arthur Hornblow Jr. and soon became one of the biggest stars of the 1940s. Her famous peekaboo hairstyle, which framed her face in a soft cascade of waves, became an iconic symbol of 1940s glamour. Films like This Gun for Hire, The Blue Dahlia, and Sullivan's Travels catapulted her to fame, but the public's adoration masked the internal turmoil she was facing. Hollywood, however, was not kind to her. Lake's autobiography reveals the darker side of stardom: constant exploitation, harassment, and the harsh realities of being a woman in an industry dominated by powerful men. She recounts a harrowing experience with a producer who, in an attempt to intimidate her, exposed himself to her during a meeting. Rather than succumb to his advances, Lake famously threw a dictionary at his exposed genitalia, humorously recounting the incident in her memoir. Despite her struggles, Lake continued to attract attention from notable figures, including the charming Errol Flynn and the enigmatic Howard Hughes. Yet, her relationships were often marked by disappointment and disillusionment. One of the most poignant moments in her memoir comes when she recalls a meeting with First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt, where the two women shared a quiet, candid moment. Roosevelt, who had grown to admire Lake's forthrightness, gave her a spoon from the White House, a symbol of their shared understanding of what it meant to be an outsider in a world that demanded conformity. Lake's defiance against the Hollywood machine remained a constant throughout her life. She was a misfit, someone who wanted fame without the usual trappings. Her rebellious nature drew her to other outsiders, like the hard-drinking Errol Flynn and the eccentric socialite Lady Mendel, who once took tea with her while standing on her head. These relationships, though unconventional, provided Lake with the semblance of normalcy in a world that had long since abandoned her. But as her career waned, so did her mental health. Her struggles with alcoholism and mental illness, which had been exacerbated by her tumultuous personal life, left her a shadow of the vibrant star she had once been. In her later years, Lake lived in near obscurity, working as a barmaid and struggling to make ends meet. Yet even in these final years, she retained a certain defiance, refusing to apologize for the life she had lived, no matter how difficult or painful it had been. Veronica Lake's story is a tragic one, not just because of the personal demons she fought, but because she was a symbol of what could have been. She was the epitome of Hollywood glamour, the girl who was supposed to have it all. Yet, beneath the surface of her stunning beauty and on-screen success, lay a woman who was deeply unhappy, constantly at odds with herself and the world around her. In her autobiography, Lake reflects on the nature of fame and the cruelty of a system that chews up and spits out its stars. "Nothing really hurts you except people and old age deterioration of the cells," she wrote. And perhaps it was the people, the manipulators, the exploiters, and the opportunists that ultimately did the most damage to her. Veronica Lake's legacy is one of contradictions. She was both a victim and a fighter, a star and a misfit, a dreamer and a realist. Her rise to fame was meteoric, but her fall from grace was swift and devastating. Yet, in the end, she remains a symbol of both the allure and the dangers of Hollywood, a cautionary tale of a woman who was never allowed to be herself in a world that demanded she be everything. It is an absolutely astonishing and thought-provoking story that leaves one pondering deeply. What do you think?